Good day, beautiful people. This is Walter C. POWWOW. Welcome to the POWWOW podcast presented by Powelltrippin.com. You know what time it is. Time to teach, inspire, motivate, and empower. This podcast, I'm going to teach you life skills, inspire you spiritually, and motivate you to be the very best that you could possibly be, and last, empower you with all the tools and equipment to do all of the above. This podcast is for the least, the last, the lost, and the forgotten. That's right. Today, we're going to talk about the 3 C's of a champion. Talking about being committed, talking about being confident, and talking about being consistent. Right. So, before we get into that, what is a champion? Think about that. How do we define a champion? Most people would define a champion as someone that after all the games, and this is just a sports analogy, after all the games that have been played, at the very end, the last game, having the best record or the record to qualify to get into a playoff, after the last game of the season with the 2 contenders, the one that lasts is the last, the one with the trophy and the ring, is considered the champion. The one who lasts is last. That's the champion. That's what society will say. Now, in life, what would you deem a champion to be? I would deem a champion to be someone who has endured some losses, right? Some setbacks, things of that nature, and yet still came out triumphant. See, but in order to be a champion, you first have to be a winner. And what is a winner? Some would say a winner is someone who always wins, but I would differ. I would say a winner is someone who never loses or who have never lost. Wait, what do you mean by never lost? See, you can have a loss, but in order to be a winner, you can never lose. This is good. Check this out. So, in a season, sports analogy, and over a course of a season, you may suffer a defeat. That is a loss. But if you have a series of defeats, is what you call lose. That's what you have, what you call a losing streak and a winning streak. In life, you would sometimes think yourself as a loser or a winner when things happen to you in life and they beat you up and beat you up and beat you up and you can't quite get ahead. You would think, man, I'm a loser, I never win. But I want you to think about the champions. I want you to think about Michael Jordan and the best season that they had when he won 72 games. Right? But they won 72 games, but they lost 10, but ultimately won the championship. See, as a champion, you're going to acquire a loss, but you're not going to lose. Because champions don't lose. They may endure a loss, but they don't lose. Why is that? The first thing is commitment. What's commitment? It's a pledge. It is a vow to do something until the very end. Right. Commitment is so powerful. Think about this. When someone says they committed suicide, they committed crime, they committed an offense, they was committed to the hospital. Think about that word in that regard, in that context, is saying commit is strong, right? It means that it's no other options. It is till the task is achieved and accomplished. That is being committed and what its commitment is. But it's also, let's talk about the second C. To be confident, to be sure of oneself, a feeling of trust, and understanding that regardless of what happens, I win. Remember, I win. And in winning, I become a champion. Because despite I might have had a loss, I still do not lose. Because I don't have a series of losses. I just may have one or two, but I don't have a series. Why? Because I think like a champion. I think like a champion because why? I am a champion. Scripture says, as a man thinking in his heart, so is he. Right? It didn't say thinking with his head, thinking in his heart. So is he. If I was to ask you, do you all point to yourself? You're not going to do this. You're going to do this. Right? You're going to point to your heart because that's who you are. This is what life is. This is what being confident is. A sole reliance, self-confidence is sole reliance on oneself, trusting oneself, and then being consistent, steady, stable, regular, unchanging in nature, consistent. That's what you have to be a champion. Committed, confident, and you have to be consistent. Now, remember we're talking about the word confidence, and confidence is something that it oozes out of champions, right? I remember when we left Atlanta, and then we made a decision to leave Atlanta. I was in Texas, and I'm like, man, there's something different about having in Texas. This had to be about July. I was coming doing some presentations in the state of Texas, I think Houston and San Antonio. And when I came here, I noticed people's lifestyle. And I'm like, man, everyone has brand new houses. People are living a certain type of lifestyle. What's going on here in Texas? My wife Tiffany was in California. I called her and I'm like, listen, we moving. They were where? We moving to Houston. We going to Houston. That was in July. August, we came from the house. September, we packed. October 2nd, guess what? We're in Houston with nothing but our cars and a little bitty thing of furniture, right? But why? Because I'm confident in understanding that this is a new land. I'm a new man, and it gives me new opportunity to flourish my mentality, right, of being a champion. See, because most people want to be in an environment where it's conducive to their mentality. Where I want to be in an environment where I change the atmosphere by my mentality. See, I relish the challenge because when we came here, I came here with me, my wife, and 2 sons, I think. I got 5 sons at the time. So I got I think 2 of my sons at the time, I think we came. And we hit the ground running. Hardly no furniture. I think we had only bedroom sets. 1, 2, 3 bedroom sets and a couch or what have you. And we filled our house up. Why? Because most people say, oh, I'll get the furniture and then go. Or I'll secure these things and then go. No, I'll get those things when I get there. Because why? I'm already prepared. I'm already prepared to step on the ground and get the moving. Because the few who do are the envy of the many who only watch. The few who do are the envy of the many who only watch. How did you do that? Yeah, the same way when we left New Orleans with $1,700, went to Atlanta, got in a real estate, got a real estate company, a brokerage, lived our best life. Boom, the same exact way. Because champions are not relying on external things. They're only relying on internal things. It's my experiences that has gotten me thus far. It is the promises and the vow that I've committed to myself and my family, and the vow that I've committed to him and me, and he committed to me. That's why as a champion, I can do all things through Christ. That's why. And most people will say, man, I had a setback. Great, now it's time for a setup. It's to set you up. Do you not understand that? And I got this from Bishop T.D. Jakes. When he says, when you have an arrow, right? You have a bow, and you have an arrow. And God will use you as the arrow, and he will pull, but the further you pull back is the further you go forward. Most people don't want to be pulled back. You know why? Because it's painful and it's discomforting. And they don't understand how far that they may go. Because why? They can't see the destination. But most champions don't have to see the destination. They can envision it. That's why we talk about sight and vision is 2 different things. Sight and vision is 2 different things. Vision is a function of the heart. Sight is a function of the eyes. That's why we call people a visionary, right? When they say, let me wrap my mind and my heart around something. Because it's a function of the heart. That's why you visionaries can be stopped because they're not moved by what they see. They're moved by what they're having visioned. And it's much bigger than what you see. Because when you're on your path and on your calling and you have this vision, there are going to be things that you see that are going to be contrary to your vision. That's why it says, blessed with them who have not seen and yet still believe. Right. But most of us, most of you, will have to see it to believe it and in order to proceed forward with it. Well, a person that has a vision is saying, despite what I see, despite what I feel, despite what I hear, I know what there is to be true, and I'm going to proceed forward. Think about that. I understand that there's going to be some adversity. I understand that there's going to be an opposer, an adversary. There are going to be things that are working against you. But what I want you to understand is, do you not know the things that are working against you are working for you? What? The things that are working against you are working for you, and you have to have some resistance, right? If anyone in life, if you are an athlete, if you're trying to gain weight, or if you're trying to be stronger in any capacity of your life, do you not know that you're going to have to experience and exercise with resistance? Because it's only resistance that builds strength. Only resistance. Not allowance, resistance. And when you can relish and welcome and embrace the resistance to understand that works best for you, think about how much further you will be. See, this is the resistance. How much further you will be. Relish that. Think about that. And then you got to be consistent with your mindset. You got to be consistent with your actions and your behavior. See, the reason why I'm confident and consistent in my confidence, because it's not what I do, it's just who I am. Most of you all are confident because of what you do. But when you can become confident because of who you are, then the world is yours. Because again, you measure yourself too much on external things. So when things go your way and when they don't, your emotions and your confidence is wavered. Because they are based on external things happening. Well, as a champion sees, here's some adversity. Here's the time for me to triumph. Here's the time to see and show and display and exemplify what a true champion, what a true winner is. Despite the loss, I will not lose. My call might have got repossessed. I might have lost my house. I might have filed bankruptcy, all of which I have done. Right? All of these things I have done. I've had experience. But still, a champion says, this too shall pass. And this is only here to demonstrate the glory of God. And again, see and show that great is he that is in me than he who is in the world. Because there's an enemy that's not after your purse, but after the promise. And if he can get you to believe and to think and to feel that you are a loser because you have encountered a couple of losses, the devil is a liar. He's a liar. And I'm telling you, by being committed to the way you think, confident because of who you are, and being consistent in the first two things, that's what you're going to become a champion. You're going to become a champion. See, because little is much when God is involved. Little is much when God is involved. Little. I remember when we had lost it all again, and I always revert back to this because this is my wife and I was living our dream. And to think how catastrophic it is for someone to have lived a dream, because few people even live a dream. But to have lived a dream, now is a reality, and then lose it. Well, the enemy stole it. Let me say that. And it been stolen from you through the enemy, right? Because he comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And then once you understand that man, although I had to go all the way back, when he lets that bow go, when that arrow go, guess what happens? The trajectory, the distance is going to go so much further than where I was before. Why? Because of the opposition. And not only did when we came to Texas and we survived, we thrived, we flourished, living an abundant life. Now my sons are here, my grandchildren are here. Why? Because we endured the pain. Because we're champions. Because why? You may suffer a loss, but that means you do not lose. Because you don't lose. You don't lose. You can't lose. You will not lose. But you have to fixate it in your mind. Fixate in your mind that you have the very confidence that's needed to be the very best that you could possibly be. You got to be consistent, never wavering. Unchanging in nature is what this is. Unchanging in nature. And then you got to trust. Trust the process. Trust equals consistency plus time. That's what trust is, right? Over time, you become consistent, then you begin to trust. That's what I tell you. A lot of people just, they don't want to trust God. It's because they think God has failed them. He'll never leave you or forsake you. That's a promise. Never. And because that you might have prayed and all the prayers are yes and amen, but you might have prayed and your prayer had not come to pass, it's because God is a God of decent and in order of timing. He's a decent and in order of timing. I think about this. Have you ever been in the midst of a fog? Right in the midst of a fog. You may be walking, you may be driving. And if you ever were in the midst of a fog, you probably had somewhere to go or a destination to reach, right? Think about this. And how difficult it was for you to get to your destination because you was in the midst of the fog. Because what does it do? It skews your visibility, right? Your visibility is not as clear as it should be. Have you ever heard of the term in a fog? That's what the donation is. It delates that it's unclear or I'm confused in my mind because I'm in a fog. But this is what I want you to realize by being in the fog is that if you're in a fog and if you continue to go in the right direction and stay on the right path, eventually what you cannot see will appear. Because as closer you get through your destination, the clearer it becomes. Most of us are too concentrated on the fog. Most of us are too concentrated on, man, I can't see. You don't have to see. All you have to do is trust the vision that's inside you. That will be your navigator. If you can do just that, I promise you can win. Don't get caught in the fog. Don't be confused, because the enemy is the author of confusion. You don't have to be confused. Understanding that you may can't see it, but you can seize it through your vision and through the conviction of your heart to know that I'm doing the right thing the right way at the right time with the right people to get the right result. You gotta believe that and stop looking at external things and then look at the things that are inwardly. Let those things guide you and get you where you want to be or long to be. Don't get caught in the fog. Don't pay attention to the dense fog. Just continue to go on the right way, on the right path, and eventually you're going to end up at your destination. Why? Because you're a champion. And that's what I want you to exercise. These 3 C's. I want you to be committed, I want you to be confident, and I want you to be consistent in everything that you do moving forward. And say that. I am confident, I am consistent, right? And I am committed. Say that to yourself throughout the day. And then you will see how saying those affirmations and confessions will soon change the way you think, change the way you believe. Guess what? It will change the whole outlook of your life. Thank you all so much. This is Welcome to Power Board with the POWWOW podcast. Make certain that you tune in to this podcast every Wednesday. Every Wednesday, 8 o'clock. Like, share, comment. Please, if you would. Y'all be blessed. See y'all soon. Love you, beautiful people.